a minute. Okay, I think we are up and live. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Trina Johnson, co-owner of Amazing Speaks, an international speaker training program where we are helping especially women, but any aspiring speaker, become a more professional speaker, get on more stages, and actually just hone your craft. So tonight I want to talk about like the way you become a speaker that audiences just crave, right? You do not have to be a celebrity, you don't have to be well known, but you have to have a really good, compelling speech. And once you become known for that good, compelling speech, audiences will just want more and more of you, and you'll be able to get on stages, right? It's not about, being known all over the world. It's about becoming known for like one thing. So we've kind of created this little acronym, okay? Speak, make it easy, right? The S is select a problem, right? The best speakers solve problems. So S is solve a problem. P is prepare your talk. Really spend time preparing your talk. The E is establish yourself as an expert. The A is acquire speaking gigs. Get on stages so that you can become known as a speaker. And then K is know when to expand or know when to shift gears. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about speak, S-P-E-A-K. So the first part is solve a problem, okay? Be specific, know why it is a problem for your audience. Pick one thing, or it could be a cluster of things, but know what someone who's listening to you may be struggling with. What is that problem? And what you want to do is you want to be able to really identify the common causes of that problem, and what results are they having in their lives because of that problem. Really think about what is your audience struggling with? Actually define that problem. Figure out what the pain points are, right? It's like, what is causing a problem in their life? This problem, right? This problem, what is it doing to their lives? So you want to really kind of drill down on the pain points, really understand what is causing them. And that's where you start, is figure out the pain points for your audience and how they are going to, you're going to suggest a solution, right? But you got to first really understand the problem. So the S is select a problem to solve. You don't have to solve everything, but become known for you are the solution to that one problem, right? That one's pretty easy. So then what you want to do once you figure out your problem, you're going to prepare your talk. Now, once you identified the problem, then you're going to remind them of their pain points, right? Again, you know why they're having those pain points, what is causing it, what's probably going on in their life, what kind of results are they currently getting because of this problem, and you're going to then offer solutions, right? So your solutions are usually by illustrations, like use a story of someone or a group of someone who has maybe used your solution and gotten better results. Show them why you are the one to provide the solution, right? You really understand their problem because you're really going through the pain points, and and you're going through the causes, you know what's going on in their lives. Here's the solution. And then illustrate how others have used your solution to get a result. And that can be great testimonials. It can be just illustrations from the news. It can be any kind of story, but usually you want to illustrate that someone had this problem, they did the solution, and they got a good result. And some that could be your personal story if this is a problem that you have personally dealt with. All right, so you're going to offer your solution at least 3 times in your speech in 3 different ways, right? So one might be that, you know, and depending on what your problem is, what your solution is, you want to make sure that you mention your solution at least 3 times and illustrate it at least 3 times, and 3 different people have applied it in 3 different ways. So you kind of have to work with that a little bit. But as you start to prepare your speech, really create a clear objective, right? And your objective should be in 1 sentence. When someone hears my talk, they will what? You want to be able to know what is your end result. What is the objective for your audience? You want to answer the question, when they hear me talk, what's the result? Okay, make sure you have that 1 sentence before you even start preparing your talk. Figure out what problem you're going to solve, what your solution is, and then answer the question from the audience point of view is, what is the objective? When the audience hears me talk, they will, what's the result you want for them? Okay, because the audience is sitting there, and in their minds, they're going, why do I care about this talk? And then once I understand why I might care, what am I supposed to do? Right? That's what the audience wants to know. You want to answer for the audience, why should they care? And once they understand why they should care, because you've talked about their problem, their pain point, then their question is like, well, now what? What do I do? And that's what you want your talk to be about, is solving the problem so that they understand that they have a problem, and then they go, well, what do I do about it? And there you are with the solution. So, you know, don't overload your audience, right? Only give them what they need, which means that you always want to keep some things back. You don't want to give them every single thing they could possibly do to solve the problem, right? You only give them a handful of things to kind of make them want more, because they may think of another, well, what if I did this? But you don't want to just overload. Don't, you know, we used to say in networking, don't like just vomit your solution on them. Don't give them everything. Give them like the high points. And it's really helpful to kind of break down your solution into bullet points. And for, you know, some odd psychological reason, people respond to odd number bullet points. So your bullet points should either be 3, 5, or 7. And usually if you go more than 7 points, you're going to start losing people. That means you probably have too much information and you need to pare it down. But if you can break down your solution into 3 points or 5 points or 7 points, that is going to be a speech that people will really get engaged with. And that's really what you want to do. You know, and once you've prepared your talk, you have to practice, 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 right? Professional speakers do not just wing it. They actually know their speech inside and out. And they don't have to necessarily memorize it. You don't have to memorize word for word, but you have to understand the flow of your speech. You have to understand that you're talking problem and you're solving that problem, right? Those are the best audience engaging speeches, are problem solving. So once you've got your talk, your practice, practice, practice. So the S is solve the problem. The P is prepare your talk. And then let's talk about E. Now, E is establishing yourself as an expert, right? And you're really talking about building your credibility, creating your own personal brand. You don't have to be an expert in everything. You just need to be an expert in this one thing, right? And you don't even have to be, you know, an expert of everything. You just need to know more than your audience. And you need to be able to state that you know more than your audience in this particular area authoritatively, right? So one of the best ways right now to establish yourself as an expert is have a social media strategy, right? Post regularly about the problem that you solve.
Let me say something. I don't care about this video. It's not important. I need to say something to you because
Hold on,
That's
Tony.
what you need to understand.
There you go. So anyway, have a social media strategy that you're posting regularly and you are talking about your solutions. If you have a blog, blog about your problem and your solution. Guest blog on other blogs or answer questions in forums. Write articles that there's a lot of different places online that you can post articles about your solution. Network with influencers. Get out there and let people know who you are and tell them that you solve this problem. Whatever the problem is, tell them that you solve that problem, right? Become known for your ability to solve that particular problem. So if you're going to be a speaker, right, create a professional one sheet. And when it says topics, make sure that your topic is about that problem and those solutions. You don't have to highlight credentials on a one sheet. If you have them, do, but you don't have to. All you want to do is really focus that you are an expert in this topic and you can provide solutions for this topic. You don't, like I said, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You just need to know more than your audience about this one problem. So that's E, establish yourself as an expert. You want to start wearing that badge that says, hey, I know how to solve X problem. And that could be your elevator pitch. Whenever you meet someone new is, hey, I'm the person who solves X problem. You know what your audience pain points are. You know that you can provide solutions. And so do that as much as you can. Become known as someone who solves that problem. Okay, so S is solve the problem. P is prepare your talk. E is establish yourself as an expert. So now we're on to A. Now, A is acquire speaking gigs, right? Put yourself out there as a speaker and get on stage. Get in front of people and talk about the problem you've identified and your solution. And it doesn't matter how big the audience is. What it matters is that you're getting in front of people and people are beginning to recognize you as an authority. Doesn't matter if it's a volunteer spot, if it's a paid spot, or even if you pay to get on some of these stages. That's okay, especially if the audience is going to be interested in your solution, and then you'll be able to bring them into your programs or sell your solutions to them. Just get on stage, right? So develop a long list of potential speaking opportunities, right? Organizations, chambers of commerce, the Rotary Club, all the different networking events, women's conferences. There's tons of potential opportunities out there. You just have to raise your hand and just say, hey, I'm available. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't even know that you're available as a speaker because you haven't really raised your hand and say, hey, I want to talk, right? So you want to be kind of aggressive and start connecting with people who can get you on stages. Take every opportunity you can to get on a stage. Start connecting with people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's one of my favorites. And find those people who are maybe in organizations that occasionally have speakers. You can see like nonprofits usually have, fundraisers, or they're always looking for speakers for different things. Whatever your topic is, find people who will let you talk to them. And you'll be surprised at how many are really out there. So make it a habit to look for opportunities to speak and to reach out and put yourself in the mix, right? Offer to speak. Like, for instance, I'm going to be speaking at the Hispanic Business Association, their December meeting. All I did was ask, hey, do you need a speaker at an upcoming meeting? And they immediately came back and said, yeah, you know what? We need a speaker for December. Okay, that's what it takes. You just reach out and ask, and you'll find that there are organizations that have regular meetings that love to have speakers come out. So definitely do that. So start building a list, right? every time you find someone who's having an event, make a note of the event planner or the organizer and start creating a list, and periodically reach back to those people and say, maybe they didn't have anything available then, but maybe they've got something coming up. Just get yourself known as someone who will come and speak. And that is really how you acquire gigs. And once you've got kind of, a variety of things, make sure you're putting them on your speaker one sheet, or if you have a website for you as a speaker, make sure you are listing those places where you speak. And it doesn't matter if you only spoke to 3 people, doesn't matter if it's 300 people, just make sure that you're creating a list of stages that you've been on. And again, every time you get up there, it's an opportunity for you to practice. It's an opportunity for you to just hone your speech. And it's an opportunity for someone to really connect with you and also spread the word, right? When people see you speaking, if someone asks somewhere down the line, hey, do you know anyone who could, speak at our church or speak at whatever, they'll remember they saw you. So definitely make sure that you are getting on as many stages as possible. Let's see here. Just a side note, there are 8 kind of commonly recognized types of organizations that hire speakers. Okay, so here are the 8 very quickly. Corporations and businesses, associations, churches, ministries, nonprofits, government agencies, colleges and universities, L-high education, high schools, elementaries, and conferences, right? Those are the 8 categories that you could speak to. So when you are thinking about, I want to get on some stages, are there some businesses that you could reach out to offer to come in and talk to their employees? Are there associations? Associations are like, all the manufacturing businesses get together, all the financial planners get together in an association. Human resources, SHRM has all the different human resources from all the different companies get together in an organization. Marketers have an organization, attorneys have the bar association. Just, whatever your topic is, look for associations that could possibly have members that could use your services. But associations usually have meetings, monthly or regional, quarterly kinds of things, and they almost always need speakers. So associations are a great place. Churches and ministries, there's an awful lot of churches, depending on what your topic is, who they're always looking for things to do for their congregations, right? They're always looking for good topics. And, sometimes they've got, a day-long women's conference, or they've got a health conference, or they've got whatever. But make sure that you're reaching out to some of these churches to say, hey, this is the problem I solve. And if you think some of your congregation has this problem, let me come in and talk. And a lot of them will do, you can talk to, a women's group. Some of them may have, singles group or whatever that can still invite you in to talk. Nonprofits, a lot of nonprofits, again, they do fundraisers, they do different kinds of events to raise money, and a lot of times they want speakers. Government agencies are always looking to bring in people to talk to employees. They also sponsor a lot of training. They sponsor, just government agencies hire a lot of speakers for a lot of different things. So, and it doesn't have to be federal government, it's like the local government, the city of North Charleston. They do events at times and they need speakers from the community. So definitely reach out to those kinds of places. Colleges and universities. Oh my God, depending on your topic, colleges and universities are always looking to bring people in. They want people from the communities to come in and talk to the students, right? And then again, there's student organizations, student associations that are always looking for speakers, plus the different departments on colleges. There's just so many opportunities that you really need to, if you wanted to speak to that college, if that's like your target, definitely be reaching out to colleges and universities and say, here's my topic, who can I get in front of? Depending on your topic, fraternities and sororities, they're always bringing in speakers. The sports teams, they look for motivational speakers or, speakers to come in and talk about focus, or talk about health, or talk about whatever. So there's so many, on a college and university, there are so many opportunities that if you just really look at it and go, you know what? Here's my problem. And if that problem happens on that campus, you can probably find a way to get on campus and give that talk. So choose what category you want to be in, do your research, and then ask. Ask. Now, I suggest that you prepare kind of a template email that kind of explains what you do and what you're looking for, and attach your one sheet. But thing is, you're not going to land a gig from one email. I mean, let's be realistic. You're going to send out a cold email and no. You know what? You're going to send out the email and it's going to be crickets. Okay. But then you're going to send out a couple days later, a second email. And then you're going to wait a couple days, and then maybe you make a phone call to, the office or whatever. And then you're going to wait a couple days and maybe send another email, or maybe send something in the mail, right? Just like any kinds of sales, it's going to take, 7 to 12 contacts before they're going to hire you, right? If you can actually get the name of the person, friend them on Facebook, connect with them on LinkedIn, and don't let it go just because you haven't heard from them in the last, couple days. If it's an opportunity that you really think that you are a good fit for their clients, their students, their, association members, whatever, don't give up, right? Just keep at it, because the timing will be right. They will start to see you, and then there you are. Now, attend events where decision makers are attending. Now, this is, I've had a couple people look at some speech thing, they want to connect with X companies. And I said, well, you know what? The association that all those companies are a member of is having a national conference. Maybe it's in Washington, D.C., okay? And what I got some pushback. They're like, well, I'm not going to travel to Washington, D.C. and go to the conference. I'm not interested in the whole conference. I just want to meet the people. Well, okay, so I want you to think about ROI, return on investment, okay? Think about ROI. So let's say that you spend $300 to go to a conference in Washington, D.C. that just happens to have 1,200 human resource professionals there, right? You spent your $300 and you go and you meet with, you say there's 1,000 attendees. What if you walked away with 20 contacts of human resources, resource departments that you could then reach back out to and go, I want to come in and talk to your employees about X, right? And if you can kind of work on your ROI and go, you know what, every time I do a talk and I get 2 people to sign up for my coaching at X dollars amount, to pay for my $300 ticket to go to that conference, I need, 2 people. And yet you walked away with 20 or 30 human resources professionals that could help you. You got to think strategically. You've got to think about return on investment. It's not and really speaking, especially when you're getting started, is an investment. Be prepared to invest in getting to the right people who can help you. Okay, let me say it again. Be prepared to invest to get to the right people. if they are going to be hanging out at, a conference in Orlando, you know what? Go to the conference in Orlando. Get the cheapest hotel that you can, right? But get the ticket to the conference and go to that conference and meet them. And you can actually say, hey, I am just here to meet with people, to meet XYZ kinds of people, and just get relationships. It is definitely worth it in the long term. So S was solve a problem, right? Select a problem to solve. P is prepare your speech. E is become an expert, establish yourself as an expert. A was acquire speaking gigs. And so we're down to K. So K is know when to expand or know when to shift. You got to know when you're ready to move beyond just the one problem, okay? You want to become known for the one thing, right? But there will come a time when you, for your own growth, you're going to want to expand. Now, you can expand wide or you can expand deep. Now, I recommend that you really consider expanding deep first. And what do I mean by deep? I mean, add more of the same. So, for instance, we're just going to say you are a coach, and maybe the problem that you solve is business planning, strategic thinking, and that's what your talk is. And maybe when you start off with, you teach them a little bit about business plans, and then the offer at the end, when you connect with them after your speech, you offer them, help them with a business plan and, 90 days of coaching, say. So when you're ready to expand, you're no longer going to do just the business plan and the 90-day coaching. You might want to sell them a workbook that has, do-it-yourself business plans. Maybe your business plans with coaching was a little too expensive. So maybe now you want to come out with, you can just buy a workbook that walks you through it. So you don't have the coaching component. Or maybe you now want to do like intensive days and just talk to them one-on-one, for a whole 8-hour day and really charge them more for it. You can take your speech and the slides that you have and put them on a CD and a workbook and sell them that way. Or maybe you break up a business plan into different modules and do an online course that they can do. There's just so many ways, but you need to think about you're still solving the problem, but you're going to solve it now in other ways, get it into different hands, because you're going to attract different people with different kinds of things. And so you want a variety of low cost to high cost. All right. Or you may want to know that, you've done as much as you can on that topic, and maybe now it's time to add another problem. Now you not only solve this problem, but now you've added another problem. So, and you'll know in your business when you start to feel that, you'll start to hear from your people that they want something more from you. They really, they're looking for something else. When you start to hear that quite a bit, but people are asking for more stuff, you need to be prepared to come up with the more stuff. So let's see, what else? So yeah, so any questions from anyone?
Hey, Katrina.
Hey,
Sandy. Yeah, I have a couple of questions. I actually could have used this last week. I did a presentation today with there's an association for South Carolina's the executive directors of residential communities.
Cool.
And there's it was really cool. We have an association of aging life care managers. So there are 3 of us presenting.
Okay.
And the reason that we pursued it was really to help them understand what a care manager can do, how we can support them, and the impact that we can have on the families and a better quality of life for them. It was just part of our strategy to get the word out
Right.
about what we're doing with it. But we had an hour and a half, which was wonderful. We had about 100 people in the audience. It was awesome.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What I felt like, though, by the end of it in the presentation for an hour and a half, or really we spoke for an hour and 15 minutes, 15 of questions, we got so redundant.
Yeah.
On it. You know, the presentation would be a rock solid hour or 45 minutes even. It would be great. But then we were kind of just, I think we were getting too redundant because we needed to fill that time, and particularly for them because they were getting credit hours for it. So, you know, we couldn't just stop early and let them take a break with it. So is there a thought on how to, you've got your topic and how to flesh it out to time frame wise to an hour and a half, or condensing it then if you've got 30 minutes, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, for one, like to spread it out, some things that came to mind was like going, ooh, could you have given them a quiz, right? To kind of test them on, ooh, what did you hear the last hour, right? Just, kind of, give them a quiz, see if they learned, right? Kind of reinforce that learning kind of thing. They're also, and I don't know if you're getting the Amazing Speaks newsletter, but 3 weeks ago, you'll have to sign up. But I did a thing on audience engagement apps, and so, I mean, that right there would take up a little bit of time because they all have to pull up their phones and download the apps. But then you could actually interact with your audience on the app, which is because you can put quizzes up there. They can ask direct questions. They can actually vote on each other's questions. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that some of those apps do that really kind of build engagement and take up some time.
Yeah. Do you have a link for some of those that you can share?
I do in that newsletter, and I will send you the back issue of the newsletter.
Okay. So, and I think particularly for that large of a group, an app would have been great. We did because we were at one point talking about communication, and do you remember the story? I think we all did this. It was about gossip. It was either in Girl Scouts or third grade or something. Right. Where somebody said something and you passed it around to see what it ended up sounding like at the end. And we did do that activity kind of about 3/4 of the way through. And they had fun with it. It was a joke and silly and stuff like that, but it hit the point about as hard as we try to communicate, communication fails in the various systems that we manage with it. So that went pretty well, but an app, I wish I'd known that. That could have been a really fun thing for that large of a group to do. So thanks for sending that. And then my other question, because I think the other two people would love to hear this, they were much more nervous about presenting to a large group than I was. Okay. And so I know you're recording this. Is it possible to send them a link to it so that they can just see this? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The link will be available. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be available just on the website and I can forward them the link, or how would that work?
Either way, I can email you. I can email it to you, and I will be posting it on the Amazing Speaks and in Morelli. And various. Okay. I will post the replay so people can watch. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Great. Well, no, I've enjoyed this. Thank you. And I love the idea of the app. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Tony, you got any questions?
Yeah, I'm glad you said you're going to post it because I can go back because I had to take a break. I got interrupted. But yeah, my son had an event to do, and I got asked to speak. But it was supposed to have been last Saturday. It was Stop the Violence event,
Right.
and it's getting postponed to another day. So I feel like I'm an okay speaker. I've been okay. I've never really had any problems, but just listening to you break some of the things down that I did here, it's kind of giving me some ideas. So on my speech, it's like 5 minutes, and I wrote it out talking a little bit about my childhood and about how I brought my children out of in a good environment compared to what I went through growing up. So do you have any like ideas as far as like the concluding part of my speech? Because it's about violence, and I'm talking about violence and how I grew up around it, and so I'm giving my life as an example, and then talking about how we can prevent it here in Charleston, and just to make it better for everybody as far as not having violence in the community.
Okay. Well, so again, go back to what is your objective? Why are you telling them your story? Right? What do you want them to do? One, like answer those two questions. Why should they care? And once they understand why they should care, what do they need to do next? Your conclusion needs to be a call to action. Your conclusion needs to be, when you leave this room, you need to, what is it they need to do? They need to volunteer at, some organizations. They need to donate to build a new shelter. They need to buy your book so they will have life skills, to do X, Y, Z. You need to end your talk with some sort of call to action, something for them to do after they've heard you and they're inspired. You're inspiring them to do something.
Okay.
What you don't want to do is just speak and they clap politely and you walk away and they do nothing, right? You're actually trying to talk to them to get them to change, right? To affect the community. So you need to have some ideas for what they should do.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I could do that.
I mean, if you have a specific, you're talking at a Stop the Violence event, you may say, you know what? Here are 3 organizations right now who are trying to stop the violence, who need your dollars. Donate to these 3, or it could be, there's going to be an event on, XYZ date. We need your support. Come to that event. Whatever you need to do, call to action. You want to be able to tell the audience what they should do next. Once they hear your speech, what do they do with it?
Okay.
I mean, they can hear speeches all day long about, she's not around violence anymore. Okay, but what do they need to do to help move the cause forward?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else, ladies?
Nope, I think that'll do it.
All
That was
right.
great. And this is my first time using Zoom, so this is a cool.
I love Zoom.
Cool. Yeah, I had to do all the enrollment thing before I got on, so that's why I was a bit late.
Well, you're good.
With it. So is this a free app? I mean, a free thing? Like if I want to use it for something like you just did?
For Zoom,
Is it free? Yeah.
There is a Zoom. There is a version of Zoom that is free. It limits you to only recording 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So I want longer than that and a couple other bells and whistles. So I actually pay $14 a month.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But it records for you, and you can put it in the cloud, and you can put it straight to YouTube. It's a very handy thing, and it's global. Anyone in the world can jump on. So I like it.
Okay.
And they even have a premium thing. I think it's like maybe $39 a month that actually will connect into Facebook Live. And that's my next, when I upgrade, I'll be going to that version. So.
Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That will do it for tonight. Amazing Speaks. We are still taking charter members. You can go to amazingspeaks.com and look for the tab that says charter membership, and you can join our charter member right now. It's $200 for 2 years. Because we're just now building the program and building the training and that kind of thing. So you can do that. You can also sign up for the newsletter. I will send both of you the link for the newsletter if you're not currently getting it. And Sandy, I will send you the one that I did a couple weeks ago with the apps.
Great. Thanks so much. That call to action there, you got that in at the end.
Yeah. That's what I want to do, right? That's what I want to
Yeah.
do now. Join Amazing Speaks, be part of the community, and we will catch you later. So I'm
All
going
right.
to hit stop recording, and that'll be it. Thanks, guys.
Have a good
Thank you.
night.
All right.